So today, I'd like to talk about the importance values in defining Filipino identity. According to Dr. Thomas QD, um, Andres, values are the things, person, ideas, or goals that are important to life. Values give a meaning and direction to every individual in life and influence human behavior. In the Philippines, values play a key role in shaping our identity as a Filipino, regardless of age, status, or religion. It's essential to practice our core Filipino values. These values help bring us together as a nation, show our love for the country, and contribute to making the Philippines a better place. So, let's focus on Makajos cluster, which includes five core values. First is faith in Almighty God. Bilang isang Pilipino, ang paniniwala sa Diyos ay nakakatulong sa atin upang mas mapatatag pa ang paniniwala natin sa Diyos at maiwasan ang paggawa ng pagkakamali. Pangalawa ay respect for life. We value human life, our own and others, and treat others with kindness and thoughtfulness and care. Sa pangalawang parte ng sa mga Diyos, ang pagrespeto sa buhay ay isang value para sa human life at hindi lang dapat ang buhay natin ang dapat nating respeto at dapat rin sa ibang tao. Pangatlo is we love order. Kumbaga, third is order. We love order and discipline, following rules and laws that create peace and fairness in our community. Ang order, ito naman ay bahagi ng paniniwala ng isang Pilipino o bilang isang Pilipino na dapat ay meron tayong rules and laws upang magkaroon ng kapayapaan at pantay na pamumuhay sa ating komunidad. Last is work. Filipinos are known for being reliable worker and skilled entrepreneur, working hard, being honest, and striving for excellence. So, ang work ay hindi na likas ito para sa mga Pilipino dahil bilang isang Pilipino, tayo ay masipag at walang inuurungan sa kahit anong bagay. And lastly is concern for the family and future generation. We love and support our families, recognizing the strong families build a nation. The values we learn at home shape how we treat others in society. In conclusion, values are essential in defining Filipino identity and shaping our behavior. By practicing these core values, we can build a stronger, more united nation and contribute to making the Philippines a better place for everyone. So, next is the cluster 2 of our core Filipino values. And this is Makatao, which focus on our relationship with others. So let's break down the five values under this cluster. First is love. As Filipino, we show love by caring for others in our daily life. So sa unang bahagi ng cluster na ito ay meron itong love. Bilang isang Pilipino, likas na sa atin na mapagmahal na tao. At hindi lang ito sa makikita sa pamilya natin, kundi sa ibang tao, katulad ng kaibigan, kakilala, at kung sino pa man yan. Hindi natin maiwasan na unahin ang iba dahil sa pagmamahal. Next is freedom. We value freedom and use it to do what's right. And we also respect others' freedom and don't force our ideas on them. Bilang isang Pilipino, meron tayong tinatawag na human rights Dito pumapasok ang mga taong hindi kayang bumoses o ipaglaban ang kanilang sarili. Itong um, role na to or law na to ay nakatulong upang matulungan ng mga taong hindi kayang ipagtanggol ang sarili o hindi kayang ibahagi ang kanilang nararamdaman. Next is peace. Peace. As Filipino, we strive to live peacefully with others. We avoid violence and try to solve problems in calm and respectful way. And fourth is truth. Honesty is the core value for us. We tell the truth and live as honest life, being trustworthy in our Filipino families, work, and country.
Master 3. Makakalikasan or environmental values. Number 1. Concern for the environment. A responsible and caring Filipino show concern for the environment by taking steps to protect and preserve nature. This includes simple but meaningful actions like practicing the 3R: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Number 2. Biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the variety of all living things on Earth, plants, animals, and microorganisms. Filipino values this natural richness because each species plays an important role in maintaining the balance of ecosystem. Number 3. Pollution and deforestation. Pollution from air, water, and land, along with deforestation, are two of the biggest environmental threats today. This problem leads to natural disaster, loss of animal and plants life, and serious health issue. A good Filipino recognizes the importance of taking action by avoiding harmful practice like littering, using too much plastic, and wasting natural resources. Cluster 4. Makabansa. Nation-centered values. Number 1. Unity. Unity is one of the most important Filipino values. It means coming together and working as one, despite differences in background, beliefs, or opinions. When Filipino unite, they can overcome challenges, respond to disaster, and reach common goals. Number 2. Equality. Equality means treating everyone fairly and giving all people, regardless of gender, religion, wealth, or social status, the same opportunities in life. A good Filipino believes that everyone deserves respect and dignity. This includes standing up for those who are often ignored or mistreated, such as poor, persons with disabilities, and indigenous people.
Strengths of Filipino character: pakikipagkapwa-tao or regards for others. Filipinos are open to others and feel one with others. We regard others with dignity, as respect, and deal with them as fellow human beings. Pakikipagkapwa-tao is manifested in a basic sense of justice and fairness, and in concern for others. Ang pakikipagkapwa-tao ay pinapakita dito na ang isang Pilipino ay bukas ang loob na tumulong sa ibang tao, hindi lang sa kapwa Pilipino kundi sa ibang tao. Second is family-oriented. Filipinos possess a genuine and deep love for the family, which includes not simply the spouses and children's, parents and siblings, but also grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, godparents, and other ceremonial relatives. Ang family-oriented ay pinapakita na ang Pilipino ay nagpo-possess ng genuine o totoong pagmamahal sa kanilang pamilya, na handang ibigay lahat ng kailangan nila para sa kanilang pamilya. Handa silang isakripisyo lahat-lahat. At hindi lang ito para sa mga kanilang mga anak, magulang, at sa mga kapatid nila, kundi ito ay makapakita rin sa kanilang grandparents, mga tito, tita, mga pinsan, mga lolo't lola, at iba pang bahagi o sa iba nilang kabahagi na pamilya. Number 3, joy and humor. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun-loving approach to life and its ups and downs. There is a pleasant disposition, a sense of humor, and a propensity for happiness that contribute not only to Filipino charm but to the indomitability of the Filipino spirit. Ang joy and humor ay pinapakita dito na ang mga Pilipino ay may likas na katangian na pagiging cheerful and fun-loving approach. Kung kaya't ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga sikat na bansa na dinadayuhan ng mga taga-ibang bansa. Dahil na rin dito sa ating ugali na masayahin. Number 4, flexible, adaptable, and creative. Filipinos have a great capacity to adjust and to adapt to circumstance and to the surrounding environment, both physical and social. Unplanned or anticipated events are never overly distributing or disorienting as a flexible Filipino adjusts to whatever happens. Sa flexible, adaptable, and creativity, pinapakita dito na ang mga Pilipino ay merong malaking kapasidad na mag-adjust at mag-adapt sa kung anumang pangyayari o mga problemang kinakaharap nila sa surrounding nila. Kahit ito may ay physical o social, at kung ito ba ay hindi napagandaan o biglaan na events. Hindi ito makakapigil o makakagulo dahil ang mga Pilipino ay flexible na mag-adjust sa kung anong bagay na kanilang kakaharapin. Number 5, hardworking. Filipinos have the capacity for hard work, given proper condition, the desire to raise the one standard of living, and to possess the essential of decent life for one's family. Combined with the right opportunities and incentives, stimulate the Filipino to work very hard. Sa hardworking, pinapakita dito ng mga Pilipino ay mayroong paninindigan sa kanilang trabaho. Meron itong kapasidad na ibigay ang lahat, ibigay ang kanilang puso sa kanilang trabaho. Gagampanan nila ito ng buong buo at hindi susukuan sa kahit anong bagay. Number 6, deep in faith and religiosity. Filipinos have a deep faith in God. Innate religiosity enables us to comprehend and genuinely accept reality. In the context of God's will and plan, those tragedy and bad fortune are accepted, and some optimism characterizes even the poorest lives. Ang deep in faith and religiosity, pinapakita dito na ang bawat Pilipino ay mayroong malaki at malapit sila sa Diyos. Dahil na rin siguro na punong-puno ng mga iba't ibang relihiyon ang ating bansa, katulad ng Islam, Muslim, Catholic, at iba pa. Ability to survive. Filipinos have an ability to survive, which is manifested in our capacity for endurance despite difficult times and in our ability to get by on so little. Filipinos make do with what is available in the environment, even by eking out of a living from garbage and dump. Ang ability to survive, pinapakita dito na ang bawat Pilipino ay may abilidad na mabuhay sa kung anong mga pangyayari na dumating sa kanilang buhay. Sa kung anong trahedya o paghihirap na kanilang harapin. Meron silang abilidad na solusyonan ito at mabuhay sa gitna ng mga dinanas nila.
Difference of hazard and disaster. Hazard. A hazard is something that could cause harm or damage, but it hasn't happened yet. It is a danger or risk that might lead to injury, loss of life, damage to property, or harm to the environment. Hazard can be natural, like typhoons or volcano eruption, or man-made, like fires, unsafe buildings. Example of hazard. A fault line that might cause an earthquake in the future, or a low area that can flood during heavy rains. Disaster. A disaster is when a hazard actually happens and causes serious harm or damage to people, property, or the environment. It often happens suddenly and can be so big that the community needs help to recover. Disaster can also be natural or man-made. Example of disaster. A strong earthquake that hits a city, destroyed buildings, and causes injuries and deaths. In short, a hazard is a possible danger that might happen, while a disaster is when that danger actually happens and causes damage.
Disaster management, which is the process of getting ready for, dealing with, and recovering from disaster, so that the people and communities can stay safe and return to normal quickly. Disaster management has four parts: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Mitigation is about reducing the damage from disaster before they happen. This can include making stronger buildings, checking which areas are at risk, planning where people can safely build houses, teaching the community about disaster risks, and making sure people stay healthy. Preparedness is about knowing what to do when a disaster happens. It means making plans, having emergency kits with foods, water, and medicine, practicing drills, setting up warning system, and keeping important supplies ready. For example, in a community that often gets flooded, the local government can build flood barriers, make rules about safe areas to live, teach people how to stay safe, and during floods, everyone can follow plans and warning to protect themselves and their property.
Sustainable development. Sustainable development is the promotion of sustainable livelihood and the building of communities in safe and long-lasting ways so they can survive disasters. The goal of this is to protect livelihood, plan safely, reduce risk, and prepare for emergencies. Good development helps people recover faster, while poor planning can make them more vulnerable. Humanitarian action. Humanitarian action is the help given by organizations or agencies during the response and recovery stages. To work effectively, these agencies need skilled leaders, trained staff, adequate supplies, transport, good communication, and clear emergency plans. Without proper preparation, they cannot meet urgent needs. Response. Response happen after a disaster aims to provide immediate assistance, such as saving lives and keeping people healthy. It includes giving food, water, shelter, medical care, moving people to safety, and making quick repairs. Humanitarian groups or agencies are also very active in this stage to meet the basic needs of the people until solutions are found. Recovery. Recovery only begins when the emergency is under control and people start rebuilding their lives and repairing damaged structures. It involves restoring homes, schools, and hospitals, providing temporary housing, counseling, health education, and helping business restarts. The goal is to return life to normal or better while making the community stronger.
The Philippine Disaster Response Management. The Philippines is prone to natural disasters like typhoon, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, floods, landslide, tsunami, and droughts. Its vulnerability is due to its location in the Pacific Rim of Fire, archipelagic nature, and exposure to climate events like El Nino. Contributing factors include high population density, poverty, environmental degradation, and global warming. Disaster management effort began in 1941 with the creation of the Civilian Emergency Administration (CEA). PD 1566-1978 established the National Disaster Coordinating Council (NDCC) for nationwide disaster coordination. Ongoing challenges led to adopting the HACO Framework for Action 2005 to 2015 to build resilience. Republic Act No. 10121 was enacted to further strengthen disaster risk reduction and preparedness in the country.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council (NDRRMC) uses early warning system to alert communities of impending typhoons. For instance, when a typhoon is forecasted to hit a certain area, the NDRRMC issues public advisory and warning through various media channels, mobile phones, and community sirens. This allows local governments and communities to take necessary precautions such as evacuating residents in high-risk areas, securing properties, and stockpiling emergency supplies. As a result, the community can reduce the risk of casualties and damage to infrastructure and respond more effectively to the disaster. This simplify the laws, focus on preparedness, mitigation, and early warning system to develop resiliency and lessen vulnerability.
Fires come in two types, domestic and wildfires. They can be sparked or intensified by lightning, strong winds, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, or human actions. Among natural causes, lightning is the leading threat to buildings, especially those with flammable materials on rooftops. For smoke alarm, install smoke alarms. Doing this can cut the risk of fire-related deaths by half. Place alarm on every level of the home. Don't skip any floor. Outside bedroom, so you'll be alerted while sleeping. On ceilings or high walls, ideally 4 to 12 inches from the ceiling. At top of the open stairs or the bottoms of enclosed stairs to detect smoke traveling between floors. Near the kitchen, but not inside it to avoid false alarms.
What is earthquake? Earthquakes refers to shaking on earth. There continuous activity going on below the surface on the earth. There are several large plates, size of continents, below the surface of the earth, which move at very slow speed. In this movement, at times they crash into another one. After the impact, they could still keep pushing one another. Their constant pushing one of another generate increasing pressures among the plates beneath to the surface. At a specific moment, one of the plates could potentially glide over another. This results in an earthquake. Classifying earthquake. The impact of an earthquake at any location is characterized by two primary characteristics. The first one is intensity. This measures the magnitude of the event. Is higher is the value, the bigger is the magnitude. The most common scale used for measuring an earthquake is Richter scale. It should be understood that Richter scale is a logarithmic scale.
These are the summarization of Module 3.4, Slide 1 to 6 about typhoons. So, what is the typhoon? Typhoon are a powerful tropical cyclone that bring intense wind, and heavy rain, so preparedness is key to safety. So, before the storm, we should know our surrounding and flood risks, identify hazards like nearby dam, and plan our evacuation routes. Securing our home is equally important. Installing shutters, reinforcing roofs and garage doors, trimming trees, and bring in loose outdoor items can prevent severe damage. For people in high-rise building, it's safer to shelter below the 10th floor or have a designated safe room. When the typhoon hit, we must keep updated through official sources, secure utilities, prepare food and water, and avoid unnecessary communication. If the authorities order evacuation, we must follow it, especially in high-risk areas. But if evacuation is not possible, the safest option is to stay in a secure interior room, away from windows, and wait until it is officially safe. So, overall, typhoon preparedness is about planning early, acting quickly, and prioritizing safety over convenience.